So first let us revise the chapter crop production and management. Why do in that chapter first we have learned about why do we need food. So in answering one question, one sentence, why do we need food? We need food because it gives us energy, keep us healthy, and help us to grow as well as repair and replace the damaged and worn out tissues. So for that we need food. This you can write by your own word, in your own way. We need food because it gives us energy, keeps us healthy, and help us to grow as well as repair and replace damaged and worn out tissues. Next, how do plants and animals get their food? Most plants, they make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. As animals, they cannot make their own food. They feed on plants or other animals to get energy. Isn't it? Next, what is crop? What do you mean by crop? When we cultivate same kind of plant on a large scale at a place, it is called as crop. So what is crop? This may come and fill in the blanks. Same kind of plants that are cultivated on a large scale in one place is called dash crop. And next we'll be revising about our agricultural practices. Before that, depending on the season, there are two major types of crops we have learned: Kharif crops and Rabi crops. What do you mean by Kharif crops? Kharif crops, the crops sown in rainy season, that is June to September. And give some examples of Kharif crops: paddy, maize, soya bean, groundnut, and cotton. And Rabi crops, crops that are sown in winter season. Winter season is from October to March. And examples of Rabi crops: wheat, gram, pea, mustard, and linseed. And other than this, agricultural practices, some other type of crops that are also sown in between that summer and in the summer season, that is from March to June. That we call that as seasonal examples, seasonal fruits and vegetables. So this you can leave only Kharif crops and Rabi crops. What are Kharif crops with examples? Rabi crops with examples. You have to keep in mind. Next, what are the basic practices of crop production? So first is preparation of soil, sowing, adding manure and fertilizers, irrigation. So to loosen and turning the soil is done in the dash of stage of agricultural practices. It is during preparation of soil, isn't it? Next, planting of seeds of crop in soil is called as dash sowing. Then adding manure and fertilizers. What is the use of adding manure and fertilizers? Adding essential nutrients to the soil for growth and development of plants. Then supplying of water to plants at regular intervals is called as irrigation. Isn't it? Then removal of unwanted plant from the cultivated field so that the crops will grow properly, they get enough sunlight, space and nutrients. This process is called weeding. Removal of unwanted plants is called, that process is called as weeding. And cutting a mature crop from fields is called as harvesting. Then keeping grains or produce in order to protect them from rats, insects, microorganisms and moisture is called as proper storage. And now what are the importance of loosening the soil? Loosening the soil, it allows, loosening the soil is done during plow, that is plowing the field, isn't it? Allow the roots to grow deeper into the soil so that the roots, they can breathe easily. As well as this loosening the soil helps in growth of microbes or microorganisms and earthworms that add humus to the soil and turn and loosen the soil so further, and nutrient rich soil come to the top and can be used by plants. and the process used to loosen and turn the soil is called tilling or ploughing. Tilling or ploughing, one and the same. Ploughing or tilling means loosening the soil. Loosening the soil, when soil is loosened, it turns up. So loosening and turn the soil is called as tilling or ploughing. And after tilling, what we have to do? We have to level the land. Leveling the land is done in where big clumps of soil are broken and leveled. And leveling the field, if the field is leveled, if the land is leveled uniformly, then only process of sowing and irrigation can be done. So after ploughing or tilling, the next stage is leveling the soil. And now we will be learning about what are the agricultural implements used for ploughing. First one is plough. We have learned plough made of wood, and so you have to keep name the agricultural implements used for ploughing. Plough, hoe, and cultivator. Plough, which is made of wood and drawn by a pair of bulls, and it is used since ancient time. It is an ancient implement, and it is used for tilling the soil as well as adding fertilizers to the crop, removing the seeds and turning the soil. And if you see the plough structure, that implement, plough, it consists of ploughshare, which is a strong triangular iron strip, and plough shaft. Plough shaft, a long log of wood attached to beam at one end and ploughshare on the other end. And also it consists of one beam which is placed on the bull's neck. So this and all will come for this brief, but you should know the structure of plough. And next is hoe. Hoe is also pulled by animals. So name the agricultural implements used for ploughing which are pulled by animals. You have to write plough and hoe only. And hoe also simple tool used for loosening the soil as well as removing the weeds. And it consists of long rod of wood or iron, strong broad and bent plate of iron on one of its ends. So plough and hoe both are used for removing weeds as well as loosening the soil, and both are pulled by animals, especially bulls. And cultivator is a method of agricultural implement. It is tractor driven, cultivating the land. It is modern. Because of this, they save labor and time. So name the agricultural implement which is used for ploughing for tractor driven. This by tractor driven, the name is cultivator. And next, sowing. Then which kind of seeds should farmer use? So farmers, what kind of seeds they should use? Use good quality seeds that are clean, healthy, and which give high yield. And the selection of seeds, right variety of seeds, it depends upon the soil, climate, irrigation method, and other regional factors. Is it so? Which kind of seed they should use? Farmers should use. You have to write only this. Farmers should use good quality seeds that are clean, healthy, and which give high yield. Till then, it is used. How to separate damaged seed from healthy seeds? So put seed in water. Damaged seeds are hollow and lighter, and thus it float on water. Good and healthy seeds sink in water and settle down. Isn't it? Damaged seeds are hollow and lighter, and thus it float on water. Damaged seeds are dash and thus float on water. So what you will write? Hollow and lighter. So it float on water. So how to separate damaged seeds from healthy seeds? Put seeds in water. Damaged seeds, they are hollow and lighter, they float, and good and healthy seeds sink in water and settle down. So whatever damaged seeds which float can be removed and healthy seeds can be used, isn't it? So only this much. By putting seeds in water, damaged seeds are hollow and lighter that float, and good and healthy seeds sink in water and settle down. Next, sowing, traditional tool for sowing. Traditional tool for sowing is which consists of funnel, which is attached to 2 or 3 pipes with piercing ends, and these ends are ends pierce into the soil and place the seeds there. And what is the modern method of the sowing seed that implement called as seed drill? Isn't it? Seed drills are used with the tractors to sow the seeds. Traditional seed drill, it is pulled by bullocks, and the modern method, the seed drill, it is used with tractors to sow seeds. Why this seed drill of which are driven by tractor is better? Because so seeds are sown uniformly at equal distance and depth, and they covers the seed with the soil after sowing, so that birds do not eat them, and it rather very important, it saves time and labor. All modern method of implement saves time and labor. Next, what precaution should be taken while sowing seeds? While sowing seeds, what precaution should be taken? So first we have to select the seeds. Good quality seeds should be selected. They are planted at correct distance from each other so that they can get proper light, water and nutrient from the soil. They must be sown deep enough to protect them from animals and birds, all blown away by wind. But now if it is not so deep, they may not get enough air to germinate. And why is better? It is better to sow seeds uniformly. If seeds should be planted with appropriate distance in order to avoid overcrowding of plants. If in a place more seeds are sown, then all plants will grow together. They will not get enough proper sunlight, sufficient water, nutrient from the soil. So it is very important to sow the seeds uniformly. So what you will write? Why is it better to sow seeds uniformly in one sentence? In order to avoid overcrowding of plants. That's it. Seeds should be planted at appropriate distance to avoid overcrowding of plants. Then adding manures and fertilizers. Why are manure and fertilizers are added to the soil? Because manure and fertilizers are added to the soil to replenish it with nutrients to ensure the healthy growth of plants. Manure and fertilizers, what is the use? They replenish the nutrients in the soil. That's it. Why are manure and fertilizers are added to the soil? In order to replenish the nutrients in the soil, which helps the healthy growth of plants. Then what are the different types of manure that farmers can use? Manure, again different types: natural organic manure, biofertilizers and vermicompost. So natural organic manure can be organic manure, which include raw manure, compost and green manure. What is raw manure? It is a mixture of cattle, dung and domestic waste. And compost is with a well-rotted plant and animal residue. Green manure are crops grown in the field as pure crop or as an intercrop between the main crops and then buried in the field to enrich the soil. That is because of crop rotation. So you just keep in mind organic manure and biofertilizers. Biofertilizers and vermicompost. Organic manure is prepared by raw manure, compost and green manure. No need to go very deep. And then biofertilizer or we have last session also we have learned by nitrogen fixing bacteria which grow in root of leguminous plant like rhizobium, acetobacter, blue-green algae, etc. Isn't it? By that, those microorganisms are called as by growing that leguminous plant, they fix nitrogen in the soil. So they are called as biofertilizers. Next, vermicompost. What is vermicompost? A type of compost which is made using earthworms. Then, what are the methods of replenishing the soil with nutrients? What are the three methods replenish the soil? Either we add organic manure or chemical fertilizers, or leaving the field uncultivated fallow between two crops. We don't cultivate any crops, isn't it? So that is called leaving the field uncultivated, and also by crop rotation method. So in this way, we are replenishing the soil nutrients. So what are the different methods of replenishing the soil nutrients? Adding organic manure, chemical fertilizers, leaving the land uncultivated between two crops, and by crop rotation. So these are the different methods used to replenish the soil with nutrients. Next, what is fertilizer? Fertilizer is an inorganic salt, and fertilizer is prepared in factories, and they does not provide any humus to the soil. And fertilizers are very rich in plant nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. And so this will come. Fertilizers are very rich in plant or name the plant nutrients present in fertilizers. So you will write, name the plant nutrients present in fertilizers: nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Then whereas fertilizers prepared, fertilizers is prepared in factories. And what is fertilizer is an dash. What you will write? Inorganic salt. And manure is a natural substance obtained by the decomposition of cattle dung, human waste, and plant residue. And manure can be prepared in fields. And manure provides lot of dash to the soil, lot of humus to the soil. And manure is relatively less rich in plant nutrients. And examples of fertilizers, very, very important. Name some fertilizers. Give some examples. Give 2 examples of fertilizers: urea, ammonium sulfate, superphosphate, potash, and NPK. NPK is nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So name some fertilizers: urea, ammonium sulfate, superphosphate, potash, and NPK. Then what are the advantages and disadvantages of using fertilizers? Advantage of using fertilizers: they are chemicals and they are rich in plant particular nutrients, plant nutrients, and they help farmers to get better yield of crops, isn't it? Then what are disadvantages? They make, if fertilizers are continuously used, they make the soil infertile and also cause water pollution. So they one advantage of fertilizer: they are rich in particular plant nutrients. One disadvantage of fertilizer: they make the soil infertile and cause water pollution. Okay? And now next, why is manure better than fertilizers? Any one advantages of why manure is better than fertilizer? Because it adds humus to the soil and it increases water holding capacity of the soil. It improves soil texture. It makes the soil porous, because of which the exchange of gases will be easier, and also it increases the number of friendly microbes which are present in the soil. So these are all advantages of manure. Why? So it is better than fertilizers. Then what is crop rotation, or what is crop rotation? In between, after cultivation of one main crops, farmers they cultivate a leguminous plant, so that in the next season. So because of this leguminous plant, they help the soil to get replenished with nitrogen. Why? The root nodules of leguminous plants have rhizobium bacteria, which takes atmospheric nitrogen, and by which plants can utilize that nitrogen for their growth. Then irrigation. What is irrigation? Supplying of water. The plant is called as irrigation. Why irrigation is necessary? Irrigation is essential because plant contain 90% of water. So water is very important for proper growth and development. And when root absorb water, they also absorb minerals and nutrients which are present in the soil. It dissolves in water and it enters into the plant through root. Germination of seed takes place only in present moist condition. So it does not take place in dry condition, and nutrients dissolved in water get transported to different parts of the plant, and water also protect crops from frost and hot air current. In dry condition, water only protect the crops. And time and frequency of irrigation. Name the two factors irrigation on which irrigation depends upon. So what you will write? Variety of crop, type of soil, and the season. So name the factors on which irrigation depends upon: variety of crop, type of soil, and season. So in summer season, due to increased rate of evaporation, we have to irrigate more. So it depends upon the season. So then name source of irrigation. Source of irrigation are wells, tube wells, ponds, lakes, rivers, dams, and canals. Then traditional method of irrigation. Traditional method of irrigation can be of two types. One that uses cattle and human labor, and other which run by pump, isn't it? So name the traditional method of irrigation which you use cattle and human labor. You can see here moat, pulley system, chain pump, Dekli, and Rahar, or which we call that as lever system. Then one that use pumps. This to lift water, pumps can be powered either with the help of diesel, biogas, electricity, and solar energy. The modern method of irrigation, we have learned this. What is a modern method of irrigation? Is best method to save water. Two main methods, modern methods of irrigation. What are they? Sprinkler system and drip irrigation. Sprinkler system, where it is, which place it is useful, the land where the land is uneven and where sufficient water is not available. In the place where sprinkler system is used. So where land is very, very important, land is uneven and where sufficient water is not available. Then and also it is used in where it is used for watering the lawns and coffee plantation. And then drip system, where the drip system is used, name the place where drip system is used, where the place where availability of water is poor, and where it is often used, it is used for watering fruit plants, gardens, and trees. For coffee plantation, sprinkle system, and for fruit plants and gardens and trees, we have drip system. And even over irrigation also harmful for crop production. So irregular and under less irrigation, like how they affect crops, the same way excessive watering also can damage the crops. Excessive watering leads to water logging. So in a waterlogged field, seeds do not germinate properly, because if water is more, they do not get sufficient air to respire. Roots do not grow properly due to they do not get proper air. Soil aeration, if it is less, then they do not grow properly. And also after water get logged, once if they evaporate, it leads to accumulation of salt. The salt present in the soil get deposited on the soil, and it leads to salinity of soil, which damage the crop.